Joining us now with the union's perspective on the latest developments is Mark Lubinski, president of the Toronto Local CUPW. We appreciate your time as always. Thanks, Mark, for joining us. I want to get your reaction. What are your thoughts on the Jobs Minister forcing this vote?
Good afternoon, Jamie. Thank you for inviting me. The minister is trampling on the rights of our bargaining rights. It's a threat to all unions in their bargaining rights. So I'm very disappointed in the minister. We're only the working class, the middle class, and trampling on our rights to fairly negotiate and bargaining at the bargaining table is a disaster, not only for all Canadians, on all unions.
Are you confident that your members are going to vote against it?
Well, the union were recommending, the national negotiating committees recommending a no vote, where we filed an unfair labor practice on Canada Post already, because they're captivating our members. They're not giving us an opportunity to give the view to our members on the work floor. They're using tactics where it's released to the media, it's given to our members at the same time, where the union is a couple of steps behind. Canada Post has been dirty from the beginning. They had no intent to negotiate a fair collective agreement. They had no intent to take this to arbitration either. They used the government 3 times, and the government has trampled 3 times on our rights. One, putting a pause to our strike. Secondly is having the Industrial Inquiry Commission, and now taking away the representation of the union and forcing this vote onto our members. We represent the members, and we're doing our ways to do it, but Canada Post is undermining everything possible with the help of the government.
So what options are left? Obviously, the members are going to go towards placing their vote in the event that they're not in favor of it. Should we anticipate a strike?
Well, if they vote not in favor, the collective bargaining will continue on. Canada Post is not bargaining in good faith because they know they have the government side by side with them. We were on a strike for over 5 weeks. There was no global offer given to the members. The government and the Canada Post, which Canada Post, all their vice presidents, their CEO is appointed by the government. So we're very concerned the trampling of the rights of collective bargaining, and we're very concerned for other unions and fair negotiations bargaining in Canada. So the government has gone way over, I see, any of its rights to protect workers. They're using the CRB to go around Parliament. They're using ways that we never thought a government, this new government, would do. And now that we know Canada is being attacked in different ways, we want a strong public post office. That means reasonable jobs for the workers and a good, strong post office for all Canadians.
Mark, I'm wondering if you have concerns about what happens down the road. We know that, and we know from speaking with many people from the business sector, that the disruptions in December were the last straw for many business owners, especially small business who rely on Canada Post. And I'm wondering, what are your concerns the longer this plays out about potentially losing more customers, and that could potentially result in possible job losses down the road?
My concern is for a strong public post office with services that the public needs and requires. There was talk about door-to-door delivery. The public wants door-to-door delivery. No one wants community boxes. You see with the industrial inquiry that there are a lot of recommendations done. I'm afraid that the government is doing something the Canadian public doesn't want. They didn't go through the proper processes in having a commission where the public is able to speak. Only written submissions were given. We want a strong public post office for all Canadians for the services they require and need. Not the ones Canada Post wants to provide, not the ones the CEO and their vice presidents want to provide, but what Canadians want. And Canadians want decent jobs for Canadians, especially in the public service, because all unions, the public looks towards us. Through collective bargaining, we want maternity leave for all Canadians.
And I'm sure many people listening completely appreciate that position. And at the same time, they'll appreciate that a lot of people do want to see, enhancements to services, including weekend delivery, which has been one of the stumbling blocks because the Crown Corporation, they want to be able to use part-time workers and allow flexibility on that on the weekend shifts. Is there any common ground when it comes to that particular issue at hand?
We are not against weekend delivery. We just want decent, stable jobs for postal workers. That's what all Canadians deserve. Decent jobs, not to gigify the workforce. I'm living in Toronto. We see it all the place with these different services, taxi service, all sorts of services. There are people working 8 hours, part-time jobs, 2-3 part-time jobs. That is not what Canadians want. That's not what Canadians deserve. We're fighting for decent jobs for Canadians, for postal workers.
Mark
And
Lubinski.
we're not against weekend delivery. We're not against a viable post office. It's the corporation that's telling you not to mail. It's the corporation telling you all sorts of things, but they are to blame for the losses, not the workers. And they're trying to make these fixes on the backs of the workers.
Mark Lubinski, president of the Toronto Local CUPW. We appreciate your time and perspective as always. Thanks for joining us.